All right. Hello, everyone. We're back. Jared and Dave here at the Twilla Happy Hour.
At 8 in the morning.
At 8 in the morning, we've got Nicholas Pyle on. He's reaching out all the way from Washington, D.C. And Nicholas is here on behalf of the fight against the sugar cartel. So we want to have him introduce himself. Then we want to kick off. I want to have a quick educational time where he's going to explain to all you good folks out there kind of what the sugar cartel is
And why you have corn syrup in your ketchup.
and what they have done. So, Nick, thanks for coming on.
Good morning, Jared. Good morning, Dave. I don't know which one's Dave. Hold up your hand. Thank you.
Yep.
A pleasure to be here this morning on behalf of the Independent Bakers Association. We're a small Washington, D.C. based trade association, mostly family owned, some fourth and fifth generation, independent, regional, wholesale bakers. So we bake bread and we sell it to grocery stores. We sell it to restaurants, institutions, schools. Sell it to the Navy, sell it to a lot of folks. We use sugar in America in a lot of products. The way the program is set up, it started in 1789 with the first sugar tariffs, and those were basically to generate money for the government. But subsequent to that, and pretty much since the Spanish-American War, we've heavily regulated sugar in the United States to prop up the price. There are three essential mechanisms for it. The first is tariff rate quota. We limit how much sugar may be imported into the United States. We limit how much sugar may be grown. And we have a loan rate, a minimum default loan rate for sugar. So the end result is, and I was investigated by the Congressional Research Service for claiming that a certain Maryland senator was in the pockets of the sugar cartels, is we in the United States pay 3 times the world price for sugar. So that costs American consumers anywhere from $1.5 billion to $3 billion a year. So that's about $125 per family. U.S. sugar is two entities. It's the beet sugar grown in the Red River Valley and throughout the northern states from Michigan all the way over to the Dakotas. And then the sugarcane regions, which is Florida, Louisiana, and Texas primarily.
Okay. So what's the history of kind of these tariffs?
Well, the tariffs have come and gone depending upon the price of sugar, but they've been pretty much in place since 1990. And the tariff is about 18 cents a pound for sugar presently, depending upon whether it's beet or cane. There's a disparity in price between beet sugar and cane sugar because about 95% of the beet sugar in the United States is bioengineered.
So it's like a modified plant that they get the sugar from.
It produces more sugar.
Okay.
The beets do that are genetically engineered.
Okay. And in your opinion, which is a better form of sugar to get? Does it across all uses, or is it
once sugar is refined, it's pretty much it's a clear white, substantially refined item. So because there's no rDNA in it, it's all that is lost in the refining process, and all you end up is the white crystals of sugar, pure sugar. It doesn't matter. It's ubiquitous in that form.
So sugar is sugar.
Sugar is sugar.
Is sugar and corn syrup the same?
No, that's a different kind of sugar. It's almost a dextrose.
Okay. So it's
fructose, sucrose, glucose. They're different kinds of sugar depending upon what kind of thing. It's a basic molecule's the same. It's just got different things added to it.
Okay.
I
Now,
don't want to get too deep into the chemistry.
oh well,
We'll lose our audience.
go as deep as you want. You're gonna lose me first. So if you see me glaze over, back up.
Fair enough.
Um,
So we have the domestic price for sugar is currently 60 cents a pound. Hasn't been this high since the 1970s when it hit a buck 20 a pound. It's crazy, and we've gone to USDA and said open up the imports for additional sugar so that we can get the price stabilized around 40, 45 cents. That's a fair rate. There's a loan rate where if you grow sugar, you can default, you can get before you plant based on last year's offerings, you can get a loan from the Commodity Credit Corporation of 21, 22 cents a pound, depending upon what you're growing, beet or cane. And if you can't sell it for that price, you can default it to the government. And the last time there was a default to the government was 2013 when NAFTA expired. The sugar interests got a 10-year waiver from the tariff being lifted under NAFTA. And once that happened, we started bringing a lot of U.S. sugar in. And there was about 13, 14, a lot of sugar got forfeited back then. And it cost the American government quite a bit of money. And the producers put a caveat in the Farm Bill that said you could only sell that sugar to ethanol producers. And as a result, that sugar ended up being sold for 9 cents a pound to ethanol producers who said they didn't want it, basically. But the government wanted to sell the stocks, so they did.
So is the Farm Bill the keystone to these sugar laws?
Correct. It changes pretty much every 4 to 6 years. They get an increase in the loan rate, or they get special language like the ethanol requirement. The sugar is about 4% of the farm gate in the United States. That means of all the crops produced, 4% of the total value of the crops is sugar. But they give 45% of the ag dollars to members of Congress. So they've basically bought and paid for congressmen on both Republicans and Democrats over the years. And that's how they keep their program alive, is they've got the best Congress money can buy, Republicans and Democrats. So we did a shaming effort. I had a young man work for me one summer, James, and we wrote to hundreds of newspapers throughout the country saying, the Congressman so-and-so or Ben Cardin, Senator Ben Cardin was in the pocket of the sugar cartels. And we looked at OpenGov and we told them how much this cost taxpayers and families in that state or that congressional district, and how much money he had received, and said these guys are basically in the pockets of the sugar cartels. And we got over 85 letters to the editor published. And then I got attacked by the sugar interests for being, using a form letter and just plugging in names of members of Congress and shaming them for taking money from these growers. And so it was a case of, they couldn't win on the message, so they attacked the messenger. And it was a guy out of Reno was writing it, in Las Vegas, was writing these responses saying, this guy Pyle, he's a lobbyist. He's one of those lobbyists. So I'm proud of what I do. It's guaranteed under the Constitution, the right to petition your government. So there's nothing wrong with being a lobbyist.
No, I mean, if you're not able to lobby your government, everyone says, oh, we got to stop the lobbyists. But if you stop the lobbyists, you're stopping yourself from being able to petition, because we're all, in a way, able to lobby. I mean, I don't think there's a corner on the market for anyone to go in and talk to your representative. Is that correct?
Oh, that's correct. Absolutely right. The right to petition your government. We had people taking these editorials and going to town hall meetings and asking their congressman, why are you costing the constituents in your district millions of dollars a year in higher food prices by supporting the sugar program? Sugar is an amazing crop. It's you grow wheat and you make about $800 an acre based on today's prices. You grow soy and you make about $1,000 an acre based on today's prices. and you grow corn and you get about $1,400 an acre based on today's prices. If you grow cane sugar at 50 cents, 50 cent sugar, and we're at 60 cent sugar now, you get about 3,500 to 4,000 an acre. And if you grow beet sugar, you get about 5,500 an acre.
But that's only for the special privilege of. I'm sorry. That's only for those who are privileged enough to have the government's blessing to do so. Correct?
Right. To have what they call a domestic marketing allotment to do it. It's the last program that allows that. So the only thing more valuable is basically wine grapes, cannabis, opium, and coca are the only crops more lucrative than sugar today
in America.
So the drug crops essentially are the only ones more profitable, and their profitability window probably comes because of the war on drugs.
Well, I'm not an economist, although I get to play one on TV, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I would just guess that.
Well, same for sugar, Jared. I mean, think about it. I mean, the war on drugs is regulated by the government, and sugar is regulated by the government.
Yeah.
So everything regulated by the government is all messed up.
Well, yeah. The next question would be, is sugar probably is able to band together and tie up like that because is it just because sugar is can be broken down smaller like a potato or I guess corn could if you shave it off and but you know they control other fruits and vegetables at the border, correct? But sugar can be broken down smaller and brought across easier, I guess.
Actually, what happens is we lose jobs in America because of the sugar policy, and so sugar comes in as baked goods from Mexico, and it also the city of Chicago supports our coalition to fight the sugar program because they've lost over 10,000 sugar jobs. Candy jobs have moved across the border into Canada, where you've got lower wage rates, world price for sugar, and you've got stabilized health insurance costs there. So it's cheaper to make products in Maquiladora in Mexico or across the border in Canada and then import them here into the United States. There was a time when they would take raw molasses and they would stuff it with refined sugar and bring that in to avoid the tariff.
They would even take iced tea mix. Iced tea mix. Think about this. They'd fill it with lots of sugar, and then they'd sift the sugar out just to try to avoid the government tariffs.
You know, there was a Senator Breaux from Louisiana who stopped the stuffed molasses. He put that in the Farm Bill once upon a time.
So sugar growers have gathered together. What I was going at with that is sugar growers have gathered together and they have lobbied the government to put heavy tariffs on sugar just so they maintain their monopoly of sale within the United States.
They keep control over the market exactly through keeping their program in place. It's like a three-legged stool. It's the tariff rate quota, which is the import numbers. It's the loan rate, and it's the domestic marketing allotment. Those three things keep the price of sugar high in the United States. And a recalcitrant Department of Agriculture, unwilling or unbending to move to increase the TRQ so that we can get sugar down. We like American sugar. American sugar is highly refined. It's a good product. For a lot of baked goods, they like the quality and consistency of American sugar versus imported sugar. So if you want to make soda pop or something like that with imported sugar, that's fine. But we like the domestic sugar supply, and we want to ensure that American sugar growers survive, and they will, even at 21, 22 cent sugar. But 40 cent sugar is where we think we should be. We've got a loan rate of 20 some cents a pound. Let's double that and cap the price. Once it goes above that in a published amount, we think that the TRQ should be opened up to stabilize the market.
Can you explain the TRQ to the audience?
The TRQ is a list of 25, 30 countries with a certain allotment a piece that allows them to bring in about 13 million pounds of sugar annually, 13 million short tons of sugar annually. It's countries like Honduras, Dominican Republic. Cuba used to be on the TRQ, but in 1959 they took it off.
Can't imagine why that happened.
Yeah, because some guy named Fidel Castro took over the island.
That's is so essentially all you're fighting for is to make the market honest and competitive.
Yes, imagine that in America.
Well, I mean,
the free and the brave.
let me tell you, I'm a firm believer that the only way to salvage America is to do away with the federal government. So the federal government only does one thing successful, and we've mentioned it on this show many times, and that's turned gold into shit.
Well, I would like to see, I know you're talking about putting caps and stuff on them, but what would happen to the sugar market if we just said, okay, do the best you can, people, buy what you want.
Opened it up.
I mean, I know Brazilian sugar.
We used to grow sugar all over the United States. We don't do that anymore. It's pretty much limited to the Red River Valley up north and the sugar cane growing regions in Louisiana, Texas, and Florida.
Now, sugar was it always here in America, or did we actually have to plant it here?
We introduced it to Hawaii in the 1830s. I'm not sure how it began cultivation here in the United States. That's a good question. I didn't research that one. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, I'm famous for asking questions that make people dig.
Well, okay, but there's commonly been other forms of sugar here in North America. I mean, you've got honey, you've got molasses. The maple, yep.
Molasses is a stage of sugar production.
Yeah, but so we've had forms of that here, but I just don't. I think it's good. Make the market competitive at every chance you can. Make it competitive. Make it so that people don't get to carry a government monopoly over your head, and they get to prosper and not improve their means and their products because the government demands that you support them and them alone.
I would concur that it's time to open up the imports and allow more people to plant sugar. I mean, if you go to North Dakota or you go to Michigan and you drive down, you go farm after farm, and the guy with the new combine and the new pickup truck, he's the one with the sugar quota. The guy in North Dakota who doesn't have a sugar quota, he hates the program.
Oh, of course. He'd probably love to get in on it, but he is losing out on, one, he's got to pay taxes to uphold the machine that keeps the sugar quota high. And then he loses out on a honest market where he can compete in.
Nick, I've noticed that there's not a lot of material on YouTube on this subject. And I feel like, in fact, maybe
Did you find my video on YouTube?
I believe I did. But I know
Sugar Refund, sugarrefund.com. We have the independent
that I did. Yes,
has an infomercial with that talks about the farm gate and the money that sugar gives to members of Congress and the cost to the American public of the program. And it's an infomercial, and it's at sugarrefund.com. That's actually I think that's how you guys found us. That's a contest we run every month where you can win $125. And that's the approximate cost of the sugar program to your family in a year. And we've generated grassroots organically about 50,000 emails with zip codes of people to get them engaged on the issue of sugar, because it's a quiet issue. It's a hidden issue. It's a hidden cost. Some call it a hidden tax on the American consumer that's built into the price of the food we eat. And considering 60-cent sugar right now and the cost of dramatic costs, increasing costs in food inflation and Americans' food insecurity, it's a good time for the Biden administration to open up the tariff rate quota and allow more sugar in and alleviate the pricing pressures on food from at least this commodity. But my bakers are facing problems from wheat is being displaced by corn acreage, soy acreage. There's no oil. There's a little war going on in Ukraine. They make half of the world's sunflower oil comes from Ukraine. If you add in the Soviet Union, that's 80% of the world's sunflower oil. So there's tremendous pressure for canola oil and corn oil for all kinds of food uses, as well as the RFS, the Renewable Fuel Standard, and the requirements for ethanol from corn for that have severely impacted the costs of all foods across the board. They call it supply chain, call it whatever you want. But food inflation and food costs, this is one area where the Biden administration could move quickly and alleviate pain and suffering and food costs to the American public.
I don't know. I don't have much hope for government interference doing a positive thing for the system. I think government withdrawal from the system is more positive impacting. But I want to ask you, how can people determine if their representatives are involved with big sugar cartels or against it?
You can go to OpenGov, and that'll list their political action committee contributions, and it'll tell you whether they're a good guy or a bad guy. And just look for anything with the name sugar. You can Google it through their FEC reporting, and it'll pop up pretty quick. That's what my intern did, and we looked at congressmen all over the country, and particularly in non-sugar growing regions, to shame them. So we didn't mess with anybody in the northern Red River Valley area or anybody in Texas, Louisiana, or Florida.
Is there someone who actually kind of like champions this in government that we can reach out to and just maybe give some props?
Yeah. Senator Jeanne Shaheen from New Hampshire has led reform. Senator Pat Toomey, who's retiring in Pennsylvania, has led the reform effort. In the House, you've got Dan Davis from Illinois, and you've got Chairman Virginia Fox from North Carolina. They've led the charge on reforming the sugar program. And you look at their bills and look at the list of co-sponsors, and you'll find a lot of people who've taken the No Big Sugar pledge. And there's a group actually called No Big Sugar pledge, and they've gotten a number of folks to commit to not taking money from sugar. But basically, when you get elected to Congress, you get a visit from the beet growers and the cane group, and they walk into your office and they say, "Hey, we want you to know about the sugar program. It's very important. The rest of the world heavily subsidizes the production price of sugar, but we want to keep our program in place. And by the way, here's $30,000." And so that's a pretty big gift. Some of these guys have taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from sugar over the decades they've been in Congress. We got a pretty good list at the Independent Bakers Association. I can send you that.
Yeah,
it's sort of running total of what they've gotten. If you want to post that on a website or something.
So it's Independent Bakers Association?
Yes.
All right.
IBAbaker.com.
All right.
And then what was the group that you just previously mentioned again? I'm going to write that down if I could have that pen, Jared.
The beet growers?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The one that...
Are you talking about Open OpenGov.
So we got OpenGov.
Open source. It's a website that amalgamates FEC reporting.
Okay.
OpenSecrets.gov. That's it.
OpenSecrets.gov. Okay.
Yeah.
I opened up OpenGov,
And then the contest that you run is called what?
That's sugarrefund.com.
So can we stay in touch? And I want to find out what the results of that will be every time you do one of those, and maybe we can.
Yeah, we have a winner every month. Sometimes we do 2 winners. On Halloween and Valentine's Day, we do 2 winners.
And then how do you win?
Those are big sugar consuming. We get about 4,000 to 8,000 entries a month, depending upon how effective our Facebook ads are that month. And they're one or 2 winners are chosen at random by our web host.
Do they have to like write a letter or something to Congress, or?
Nope, they just have to agree to. There's the lawyers have like a little 2-page declaration that they have to sign, and then their winnings are sent to them.
That is interesting. I mean, you got to use every tool that you can in the toolbox to get this out.
Yeah, we get 2,000 of the same folks every month. I mean, so it's on people's autofill. Mm-hmm. But I mean, one out of 5,000 chance to win $125 is a pretty good shot, statistically speaking, versus some other contests that are out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a huge shot.
I think we'll advertise this for you out here in Tooele. I'm curious to see where our representatives stand.
Yeah, we're going to look at now. I opened up that OpenSecrets.gov, and headline is all about gun control. Now, not to disparage the great not state of DC, but out here in Utah, we're friendly towards guns, and so I'm going to dig into that Open Secrets because when they headline something like that, it kind of turns my stomach a little bit.
Well, we took the sovereign state of the District of Columbia to the Supreme Court, and we're allowed to carry rights and concealed carry rights in DC now. So
congratulations.
You know,
but I recognize that when it comes to internet algorithms, we are dealing with, more common than not, we're dealing with someone who is going to be more on the left and have those thought processes. So we're going to see that just like when you look at Twitter or Facebook, you're going to see that notion pushed more often. Not that I am not a Republican, but I'm definitely not someone who wants to go around adding more restrictions to well-meaning free people like people who want to grow sugar or buy sugar.
No,
I'm with you there.
Now, sugar has been so expensive that companies now use corn syrup in their foods. Does corn syrup have its own lobby to help promote itself and support the sugar laws?
Sugar and corn have had some interesting battles over the years, and at one point, the corn folks decided they wanted the right to call high fructose corn syrup corn sugar, and there was a huge battle between the sugar and corn folks, and it was settled, and as a result, the corn lobby does not engage on the sugar issue anymore.
They got beat in court and learned their lesson.
Well, it depends upon who you talk to, who won that fight, but we don't call it corn sugar, and the corn refiners don't engage on the issue anymore.
Yeah, depends on who you say.
One of my dearest friends in Washington lost his job as the head of the Sugar Association.
Oh.
And so, who won? I don't know. I don't think anybody really won when all's said and done.
Mm, that was rough. All right. So before we close out, give out your website again for everyone listening right now.
ibabaker.com and sugarrefund.com. I want to thank you, Jared and David, for your time today and for listening to me espouse a little bit on the great state of the American baking industry and sweet goods and bread, and eat bread daily and enjoy, gentlemen.
All right. Hey, thank you. So that is okay. So I've got them pulled up here. Sugar Refund. And I do see your YouTube video up here. Is it a cartoon looking one?
Yes.
Okay, Real Cost of the Sugar Program.
Let's play it.
It's a super quick one.
Yeah, play it. That'd be
all
great.
Right, let me hurry up and get it spooled up so that we can. Okay, got to make one more quick change.
Did you make that video yourself, Nick?
No, we paid a group out of Pennsylvania to do that.
I know sometimes our candidates, they're making their own videos now and they're so professional. You got to ask, like, I guess it's just so much easier now to make professional productions right from your cell phone or from your computer.
What my son does.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can do a lot. Okay, I think we're lined up so that we can play it. All right.
Stand by.
Did you know that the U.S. Sugar Program adds over $125 to your family's annual grocery bill? Under the Sugar Program, the federal government protects the interest of the big sugar industry by limiting who may grow sugar, how much they may grow, and how much may be imported. What's more, the government offers these growers loans at a rate which establishes a minimum price for U.S. sugar, almost twice the global price. To keep this program in place, Big Sugar gave almost $49 million in political contributions in 2013 alone, second only in the crop industry to Big Tobacco. This money goes straight into Congress's pocket to prevent necessary reform of the outdated and costly sugar program. The sugar program costs the U.S. thousands of jobs and $2 billion annually to keep in place, which equals about $125 per family each year in higher grocery prices and taxes. Sugar Refund wants to help you get that money back and force needed reform of the next federal farm bill. Each month, the Sugar Refund Sweepstakes gives you the chance to win cash prizes equal to the $125 the government allows Big Sugar to take away from you every year. To learn how to help dissolve the U.S. Sugar Program and to participate in the monthly Sugar Refund Sweepstakes, visit us online today.
That was yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, like, get $126 and sign up and help stop putting corn syrup in my ketchup.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a tank of gas.
Yeah, that is. That's a man.
It's almost it's tank and a half for me, maybe a half a tank for you in your truck.
It might be, but
I have a Ford F1 F250 and it was $136 filling up the other day.
diesel or gas?
Gas.
Gas. Oh man.
$4.59 a gallon. Although I talked to my daughter out in California, she paid $6 something for gas out there.
Yeah, the Democratic People's Republic definitely likes to add a little bit of extra for everybody. Yeah.
Now, do you have expos and like conferences on this subject?
We meet 3 times a year and we talk about sugar. There's a group, the Sugar Colloquium that meets annually. There's a number of groups that talk about it, both for reform and to keep the program alive and well.
Mm. Yeah.
Our opposition, those who want to keep the program in place are very well funded and are very aggressive.
Well, that's kind of the way the system works is when you kick off and have the government back your play, then you get more funds to where you can further kick off and have the government continue to back your play. And when you're coming up from the bottom, you've got a grassroots to try to fight what's already entrenched, what is already well funded. And,
that's why our focus is on shaming members of Congress who's continued to support this program. When I first came back from the oil patch in '85, we had a peanut program that basically had the same marketing allotments, import quotas, and peanuts were $600 a ton in the United States and $350 a ton in the world. And we eliminated the peanut program because they don't give the money on to Congress that the sugar guys do. I remember going and meeting with a congressman from West Virginia, and I knew him from other things that we did. And he looked at me and he said, "I'll help you on peanuts, but I can't help you on sugar. They're my friends." That's basically what they said. And so the peanut quota went away, and the peanut industry has survived and thrives in the United States today. Despite losing their program and, Henny Penny screaming the sky was falling if this program went away. And it's survived, and I think sugar will survive in the United States.
Oh, yeah, I know it would. Well, the peanut program has definitely survived because they probably got more competitive. They probably turned to making improvements on the farming side and on probably the packaging and selling side, where sugar doesn't have to compete to make those improvements because they just got to sit on their hands.
We had two brothers growing side by side, and one grew for the program. He had an allotment. The other grew what they called were additionals for export only, and both thrived and under the program. And they're both thriving today.
So our sugar growers can export to other countries, and they still want to buy our sugar.
No, these were peanut guys.
Peanut. I'm sorry.
Guys.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure our sugar people can export to countries that'll buy their sugar, but
who would?
They don't have to. They've got a
sugar's an interesting commodity because there was so much beets grown last year that they basically left 5% of the crop in the ground. Now, as a result, you can't buy beet sugar. There's no bid in the orange sheets, in the baking industry orange sheets for beet sugar in the United States. You can't buy it on the spot market. You will get your existing contracts through, and cane sugar's gone up to 62 cents a pound from 58 cents 2 weeks ago. So it's India has said they're not going to export any sugar to keep their domestic prices down. It's an off year for sugar. So sugar prices are rising everywhere, but especially in the United States.
Right.
Well, everyone, if you want to watch that video again, it's a quick one, minute 30. Jump on YouTube.
Jump in that contest. I mean, hey, it's a probability you could win.
But it's
free money,
sugar refund. And then you've got the Independent Bakers Association. If you want to get in and contact them or support them, it is www.ibabaker.com. And that's where you jump in to join the contest, correct?
Yes, there's a link there.
Okay.
And you announce the winner every month, you say?
Once a month, yes.
Month.
All right. So go on and support that. I think we need to support free markets. That's I think that is an imperative that we need to start supporting now. We've seen what not free markets have done to us over the last going on 3 years now, and it's gonna run us under. But hey, thanks for joining us, Nick. This was a great chat, and a chat that I walked in with zero knowledge, and I'm walking out with quite a bit, and I like that.
And Nick, if there's anything that we can do from our side and reaching out to Utah representatives that seem to be a thorn in the side for this campaign, please let us know. We have a lot of contacts out here politically, and we're I'm more than willing to lock and load on that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Yep. And you have all right, everyone. I know it was way early, and everyone have a good day. Remember IBA, Independent Bakers, but it's ibabaker.com. Jump on there and yeah, support them, learn more, get educated, and I think we'll be back in what
9:30. We got another
9:30
interview.
All right, everyone. Thank Nick and
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Take care.
You're great Americans.
Amen.
Thank you.